How Europe divided an entire continent. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that strangers had drawn new borders across your homeland without even asking a single person who lived there. That is exactly what happened to Africa during one of history's most dramatic events, the Scramble for Africa. By the late 1800s, European countries were competing fiercely for power, wealth, and influence. Africa was rich in natural resources such as gold, diamonds, rubber, ivory, and the fertile land. European nations also wanted new markets for their manufactured goods and strategic territories, that is, to strengthen their global empires. The race for Africa intensified after the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. Representatives from major European powers, including Britain, France, Germany, Belgium, Portugal, Italy, and Spain, they met in Berlin to establish rules for claiming African territory. Remarkably, no African country or even a leader were invited to participate. The conference effectively gave European powers the green light to occupy and divide the continent amongst themselves. Within a few decades, almost the whole of Africa had been colonized. Britain controlled territories stretching from Egypt to South Africa. France dominated the West Africa and the northern part of Africa. Belgium took control of the Congo Basin, where millions of Africans, they actually suffered under brutal forced labor and exploitation. Portugal, Italy, and Spain also established colonies across different regions of the continent. African communities did not simply surrender. Many kingdoms and societies, they resisted colonial rule with determination. Leaders such as Samori Toure in West Africa, Menelik II of Ethiopia, and the Zulu kingdom, they fought to defend their independence. Ethiopia achieved remarkably. I remember the Battle of Adwa of 1896, becoming one of the few African nations to successfully resist the European colonization. The consequences of the scramble for Africa are still felt even today. Colonial borders often ignored the ethnic, the cultural, even the linguistic communities, creating divisions that continue to influence politics and conflict in many African countries. At the same time, colonial rule extracted enormous wealth from Africa while leaving lasting economic and social challenges. The scramble for Africa was not just a race for land. It was a turning point that reshaped the history of an entire continent. Understanding this chapter of history helps us better understand why many of the political, economic, and cultural realities are happening and affecting the modern Africa. If you enjoyed the journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Echoes of History, where every story from the past still echoes in the present. Thank you.